Hey, what's up, EZOVERDOSE here. This is how to solo Mogu'shan Vaults up to and including Elegon as an Elemental Shaman, and this is so you can get your Astral Cloud Serpent mount on farm, and if you don't know what this mount is, it looks like Elegon, which looks like Algalon, which looks like the mount that he drops. So, cool-ass mount. It's rare. It's probably one of the most sought-after mounts right now, because the level 90 raids did not get the damage scaling that the level 85 and older raids got, so the amount of DPS you need to do this is still high, the amount of incoming damage is still high, so with that said, I do not even recommend trying this as an Elemental Shaman unless you're at least like 680 item level. And when I recorded this, I was 681 item level, and it was recorded about a week before Blackrock Foundry came out, which is like the end of January. So I was basically full mythic high maul gear minus like 3 pieces. So sadly, a lot of you aren't even going to be able to attempt this until later on in the expansion unless you're a mythic raider. But when that time comes, I'm sure a lot of classes will get buffed. I know like Elemental's getting buffed for 3 target AoE, and I'm sure other classes are going to get buffed as well, so this is only going to get easier as time goes on. Alright, before we jump into the actual boss fights, I just want to note a couple things here. You should be going into here with the Drums of Forgotten Kings. They give you 4% stats, as if you don't have like a stat class buff, so you want that. You want to have food, you want to have flask, and you want to have DPS potions. You also want to have healing tonics, and make sure that your talents are right. So for talents on most of these fights, everything is the same. I have Astral Shift, which is needed. You definitely need that one. Then Windwalk, don't even need it. Pretty sure don't need it for anything. It's just my normal talent I have for that. Call of Elements, don't really need it for anything, although you could use it to like redrop a healing stream totem or something. Elemental Mastery, you want this for the burst. Rushing Streams, this is the talent that I usually pick on this tier because they nerfed Ancestral Guidance so hard and it just sucks for a raid cooldown. But Ancestral Guidance is actually okay for a personal cooldown because it only affects 3 targets now. So you could go with Ancestral Guidance over Rushing Streams, but I'm pretty sure I use Rushing Streams through most of this, and if I don't, I'll note it later on in the video. Unleashed Fury, this is the talent of choice for this tier, and just the talent of choice in general. There might be like the first fight, Primal Elementalist might do more damage, or Elemental Blast, because you're going to be doing Chain Lightning and Lava Beam more so than just single target. But for all the single target fights, the Unleashed Fury is going to do more damage than Primal Elementalist, just because your totem only does like 10% of your damage tops. So you want the talent that obviously gives you the most DPS, since you're doing 90% of the damage. And then the level 100 tier talent, basically same rules applied, just in any general scenario. Liquid Magma for AoE or cleave, and then Elemental Fusion for single target. For glyphs, I'm using the Flame Shot glyph to give you a little bit of healing, and then the Lightning Shield glyph to reduce damage taken by 10%, and then the Healing Stream glyph to make you take like 10% less magic damage whenever you use Healing Stream Totem, because you want your Chain Lightning to hit max damage on 3 targets for this first fight. And then after that, the trash really doesn't matter too much. Alright, so finally, first fight here. Or Stone Guard, basically just, you know, open hard, burst as hard as you can, which is going to be pre-pot. It's going to be drop your totem, your fire elemental totem. It's going to be pop hero. It's going to be hit something with flame shock, and then I start on the left side because that's where 2 of the mobs are grouped up, because you want the mobs grouped up so like they take damage. Otherwise they have, if the one you tag the one that's really far away and start DPSing it first, it has like a 90% damage reduction because it's not stacked. So I wait until all 3 of them get grouped up, and I'm trying to get flame shock on these guys, as many as possible, like maximizing global cooldowns. And then I use liquid magma, and then I'm using chain lightning while I can. And after I get an earthquake down, I then pop Shamanistic Rage, and I have that macroed into Gift of Naru, and it's on a cast sequence macro. So I pop that, Shamanistic Rage, and then I pop Ascendance, and then I just Lava Beam. And this is so like the most overlapping damage is happening at once, and basically after the Ascendance expires, like they should be like 20% or sub 20%. And you should like obviously be dodging this stuff on the ground if that wasn't obvious. I'm pretty sure I got hit on one of these, but whenever it does the overload, like there's no like real timer for the overload. If you're targeting the right mob, like it will have the extra, the boss like special bar or whatever, and you can kind of see it, and you can time your astral shift to where it soaks the hit, but you should just spam heal yourself to where like you get topped off slightly if you don't think you're gonna kill them before that big hit goes off. But they should be dying right around the time that the big hit does go off. So for the second guy, Feng the Accursed, by the way, on all these, like you should definitely sit and wait just to let your trinkets come off cooldown. Like your cooldown should be off cooldown, but you want, like, depending on what kind of trinkets you have, make sure they're off cooldown. If you're legendary ring, you know, proc or something, like just sit there for 2 minutes and make sure everything is off cooldown before you pull these, if DPS is an issue at all. And even if it isn't, it's going to make things much easier if all of your procs and stuff line up with your opening burst. So this guy, I have the same glyphs, and then I swap the liquid magma for elemental fusion since it's a single target fight. Same deal, like burst hard on your opener, pot, fire elemental, hero, and then, you know, unleash flame, flame shock, lava burst, and then ascendance, spam lava burst, and then just continue with your single target rotation. And you should pretty much melt this guy into his second transition, or I guess it would be his first transition, to where he runs over to that second statue before he casts Epicenter. Now in his transition, that's like 66 to 33%, he's going to put fire on the ground or on you, and then you're going to drop the fire. And what I try to do here is I try to sit like on my Shamanistic Rage and Gift of Naru like as long as possible, and just like wait until I get under 50% to use it. And instead, I'm dropping the healing stream like as soon as I know like healing stream won't overheal me, which it sucks anyway, so it's probably not going to overheal you as long as you're under like 90%. But you want to make sure that your Shamanistic Rage is off cooldown going into this third phase here, where he puts the arcane stuff on you, because the arcane stuff is really going to hurt. So it's in this phase that I use my second DPS potion, and I used this right before I spam heal myself. So like I'm using the DPS potion to give me more int. That way my heals hit harder. That way like I only need to like heal myself 2 or 3 times to top myself back off. And I do this like basically overlapping with the healing stream totem as well, and try to get myself topped off. That way I can push out some burst, and I try to do it like in chunks of each. So I'll do like 3 heals, then 3 damage spells, and then if I need to heal, if I ever need to heal, like I'll heal like 2 or 3 times. And I just try to keep myself above 50% at all times, and I'm basically waiting for these stacks to just start like hurting pretty bad. So it looks like they're ticking for about 8k, 9k, so like at 8k, 9k is when I pop Shamanistic Rage again, and he's pretty much dead at this point. Alright, for Gara'jal the Spiritbinder, this one's kind of tough. You need to make sure like you line stuff up properly, and it's basically the same concept as the previous fight. Same deals, like the opener, just pop everything on the opener, make sure you're pre-potting. So on this one, what I'm doing like is I'm just casting like make sure I'm like keeping healing stream on cooldown basically, and I'm casting heals like more frequently, but I'm only casting like 1 here and there, so I'm kind of like weaving a heal in and out of like what I'm doing. And like I'm doing this so like I can sit on my cooldowns as long as possible, because I want Shamanistic Rage, and I want that Gift of Naru, and I want Astral Shift. I want all 3 of those off cooldown whenever he goes under 20%. So right around like 20%, before he hits 20%, I'm spam healing myself to make sure that I'm like totally topped off, and having you know, using healing stream as well. And as soon as I spam heal myself to get myself topped off and he goes underneath the 20% threshold to do his like little mini berserk or whatever, I pop the Shamanistic Rage, and like I said, that's macroed in with a Gift of Naru, and then I also pop a DPS pot and just try to burn him down as quick as possible, because this is like a fight for the timer on this one. He's going to do more damage than you can mitigate, so you have to kill him before he does that. So as soon as Shamanistic Rage expires, like I back and just line it up with Astral Shift and kill him right as I go under 50% health with a couple seconds left on my DPS pot. Alright, the next boss, it's like 3 or 4 bosses or something, I forget what they're called, like the Lost Kings or something. The first guy is like the most dangerous, because he really hits you hard. So like, I tried this 2 different weeks in 2 different ways, and I found it just best to just melt this guy with everything on the opener. Like I tried it sitting on like DPS cooldowns and stagger like hero and stagger stuff. But you should just melt this guy. You can take 3 hits of his Annihilate, and I do that while I'm sitting on my Shamanistic Rage, just sitting on my DPS cooldowns as long as possible. That way I can use them for something later in the fight and just spam heal myself up, because with hero popped and in between transitions, like you still have hero up, and you can spam heal yourself and get yourself topped off in like 4 or 5 casts really quickly. So the second guy, this is the guy that's kind of dangerous, and what he does, you need to obviously have like DBM or big wigs, and you're looking for a Rain of Arrows cooldown. So this Rain of Arrows cooldown, this is going to pin you to the ground, and unless you have a PvP trinket or there is like an item like a potion that breaks you out of stuns, unless you have that or you time your Earthquake right, which is what I recommend doing, you're going to get stunned and you're going to get killed and you can't break out of it. I forget if Thunderstorm hits it, I think it would, but like, I don't know, sometimes like these PvE mechanics, like your shit just doesn't work on PvE mechanics, stuff like that, like stuns, even though it says you can do it stunned, sometimes you can't. So make sure that you're watching that timer and you lay down Earthquake, and make sure you're standing in it right before the Rain of Arrows cooldown. So you shouldn't really need your defensive cooldown, so like this fight's not really that big a deal up until you get to this guy, Ming the Demented. Now you can interrupt some of these casts. I chose not to because I had like a whisper macro set up with my interrupt, and I didn't want to like spark in a conversation with the person while I'm trying to record this, so I just let him free cast. And as soon as this guy does the Maddening Shout, this is like what you're supposed to like DPS your teammates and have them, you know, break each other out and have them break you out because you're like you're hostile. Well, no one can break you out, so like you're gonna take constant damage from this. So basically I pop the Shamanistic Rage right there whenever he puts me into that phase and just start melting the guy. I also like right after I pop a DPS potion just to try to finish this guy off, because there's only one more guy after this. I forget if they come out in a set order. I'm pretty sure they come out in a set order, but don't quote me on that, so you might have to deal with these in a different order. But I would just save your DPS potion for towards the end, and it being like one of these guys. That way, you know, you can kill these guys as quickly as possible while you have the constant like damage on you. And obviously, like, you know, make sure you're getting out of pillage, make sure you're dodging the soldiers, kill the shadow thing. This dude does like the shadow bolt or whatever, but actually his shadow bolt barely hits harder than his melee attack. So I don't know, like, if you can interrupt stuff in between GCDs, do it. If you want to cancel your cast to interrupt them, don't. It's a waste. You might as well just like out DPS them. And then you're going on to Elegon. So this is obviously the guy that drops him out. And same deal as all the other fights, just pop everything at the beginning. When this big ad spawns, this big ad is a priority. You should be killing this thing because you're not a tank, and like the more white damage that you have on you, the worse off you are. Whenever this guy goes into the transition phase, and I believe he does it like, I don't know, 80% or something. Whenever he starts casting draw power, it's like a 10-second cast, 15-second cast or something. You have plenty of time. Just run out to the edge and drop your stacks. Now for this fight, I forgot to mention I have liquid magma, but I don't even think it matters. Like Elemental Shaman for killing these ads just sucks. Like it really sucks. So like if you kill one set of ads, like you're doing good. Like don't expect to get more than one set of ads. Like I had an attempt a week before I recorded this where I think I got 3 sets in a row, and it was just lucky like lava surge procs and stuff. But like elemental, it's too clunky with target switching. Like there's no way to do it. Like you can get one with the assist of liquid magma, but don't expect to get more than that. So make sure you get off the floor, stay DPS on the boss as long as possible until he goes immune, and then get off the floor early, kill these little cutter beam things. And at this point, you're gonna have a shitload of ads on you. Now, what I did is I just got enough together to where I could like drop earthquake on them. But make sure you're not standing in the, I don't know, the crap on the ground. The crap on the ground actually hurts, so don't stand in that. Second phase, kind of the same deal as the first. You're DPS and stuff, and you know you're killing the ads as a priority. So if you have leftover ads, kill those. Don't let those just sit and beat on you. Kill the Celestial Protector. Make sure you're just spamming Healing Surge on yourself when needed. I mean, don't be afraid to keep yourself topped off. Like, no need to get greedy. Don't sit there and just die really slowly. And then when you push him under 50%, he's going to go into the transition again. At this point, same deal as before, run out and run back in to drop your stacks. I used Shamanistic Rage here when I was around like 9 stacks right before the transition. Because I thought that breath was going to hurt pretty bad, but he actually cancels the timer on the breath and starts doing the channel to bring the ads out, so... Same deal as before. If you get one set, it's great. I mean, you can try to lay like Earthquake down and work on the other side, but you can't slow these things, you can't stun them. And Earthquake with no Chain Lightning stacks does shit for damage, so it's not going to be enough to kill him. And like your target swap ability sucks as well, so don't beat yourself up at all if you can't kill those ads. So just work on him and wear him down until he goes immune, and then just repeat the same thing as before. Kill these things, group these ads up. I'm pretty sure these ads, the Cosmic Sparks, pretty sure you can stun those. So like if you had, you might be able to root them as well. So like if you had the Earthbind talent instead of Windwalk, you could root them, and then you could drop like a cap totem right in front of them, so you could stun them, and then you could like Chain Lightning and Earthquake them, taking less damage. But it's not too big of an issue. There's plenty of time to like kill all but a couple of these and then just spam heal yourself to full. So then you're in the last phase, and at this point your 3-minute cooldowns will be off cooldown. This is also when you use your second DPS potion and just melt this dude. And that's it. So good luck to everybody out there farming mounts on your Elemental Shaman. So that's it. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you want to see more stuff in the future, make sure you subscribe. And make sure you check out the description. I have some footage of doing this as a blood DK, a 644 blood DK. And I believe like any blood DK that's like 640 plus can do this as well. So I will be making a guide like this, but specific to 640 plus blood DKs, which will appeal to a much wider crowd. So make sure you check the description for that. And thanks for watching.